Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series, Interviews with Disciples and Devotees. Today we are honored to have with us Ashok Ganguly.
Ashok.
When did you first hear of Mother and Sri Aurobindo?
You see, it was the year 1959, 56,
56.
the year of supramental descent.
Yes.
That was the year when I came here, 1956.
How had you heard about Mother?
Yes, actually, you see, my father, he used to read books, and another thing, we had in our house a sort of
An altar?
our
Library?
library, and some people would come every week, every Sunday. So we used to read from Sri Aurobindo and Mother's book, and that is how we entered into this path.
And when you came to the ashram, what work did Mother give you?
Actually, Mother did not give me much of the work. Only I asked the ashram people, how can I get some work? So they put me in the library, main library. So there I worked for some time. Actually, you see, I was here for about 1 month, not
First time, 1956.
1956.
And then you left. You left after 1 month?
Yes, after 1 month I left because I was working there in Delhi college as a teacher, and so I had to go.
You had to go back.
Go
What were you
back.
teaching in Delhi College?
English literature.
I had heard that you were professor of English
Yes,
literature.
English literature. So I, 2 books are there, one published by the society, another published by Anand Reddy, Sakar.
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 So now you are back in Delhi. You have been here for 1 month in 1956.
56. In 1956.
Then what happened?
After that, I went back and joined my college, and then from that time I decided to leave that job and come back to the ashram,
What was the college in Delhi?
SL College. This is, of course, attached to the university.
Tell me a little bit about the literature that you taught.
Pardon?
The literature that you taught in the college, what did you teach? Just briefly.
Actually, my interest was in poetry. Poetry. So, I used to teach poetry according to the university syllabus, and then I did my research work on Whitman, the American
I
poet.
see. Oh, this is very, very interesting because, there are many people here, even the teacher of poetry here, who does not like Whitman at all.
Why I don't.
And Sri Aurobindo praised Whitman so many times in the future poetry. So please tell me more about
In future poetry, he discussed and Whitman, and actually he also liked Whitman
very much so.
very much.
How did you teach Whitman?
And that is why reading Sri Aurobindo's future poetry, I came to know about Whitman.
That's how you came to know.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And then I started reading Whitman and decided to do some work on Whitman.
I've just read a book by a lady on Sri Aurobindo and Whitman's poetry, but I didn't like it too much. And she seemed to say that Sri Aurobindo derived everything from Whitman. That's not correct. Yeah. So, how was the response of your students to your teaching Whitman?
Actually, in the university syllabus, Whitman was not prescribed. So I did it that privately, not according to the syllabus of the university.
And you had some students privately?
No.
No, just research, just basic research. So now you decide to leave the college and come to the ashram.
Come to the ashram. For that I had to wait several years. Otherwise, you see, to come to the ashram as a permanent resident or ashramite is not easy.
Oh, I understand.
So anyhow, for the time being, I came back myself without the permission of the mother.
Okay.
You see, because I did not know whether I would be permitted or not. You see, I came and I met Nolinida, and he helped me. And so I stayed there for how long, I can't say. Anyhow, again for a couple of months I stayed there, and then I went back and left the job, teaching job, and finally I came back to Pondicherry. So I thought this is my real place, true place, and so I came back here. And I resigned from that college and then stayed here. At first I stayed of my own.
Where did you stay? In Pandi?
Here, that road, balcony road,
Yes.
crossing the canal, after 4 or 5 buildings, on the left hand side, there is Ambika.
Yes.
Ambika is there. There I got accommodation. Of course, the ashram gave me the accommodation on payment.
Okay.
So I stayed there. And this stay was for several months.
How did Nolini help you?
Hmm?
How did Nolini help you?
In this matter, to be very frank, I don't ask for any help. I did not ask. You see? So when actually in that time teaching job is not a good paymaster. You see? So for some times I stayed here, but after sometimes money was almost finished. And so Nolina asked me, how do you spend? So I told him very frankly, I have no money now. I have spent 3-4 months, I spent whatever I had. And Nolina, of course, he was kind enough to ask if he could help me. I said, no, if I don't have money, I would go back and then I will come again. So I did go back. So, but that stay was very fruitful for me.
Why?
Because I had the mother's darshan every day in the morning
Balcony.
at 6.
15.
Early mother would give balcony darshan. You see. I would wait there for her to come at the balcony. So for 1 full month I had her darshan every morning. That was the thing I said, fruitful.
Did you?
Then another thing, in the afternoon, I would go to the tennis ground, watching mother playing tennis. Again for full 1 month, I was. This opportunity, I think very few people had, watching mother playing tennis. I would sit there is a rock on the side of the tennis wall, and there I would sit, mother would watch, and another thing, whenever any person from outside would peep through it, mother would ask Pavitra to see and ask them to go back.
Oh.
He said, that was not allowed.
Did you have any personal meeting with mother?
No, that was the unfortunate thing which I failed to have that meeting.
Now you went back. And what
After 1 full month, I went back, and then finally the comeback, the final comeback. Then after a few months, I decided to sell my house there. I had a house there. So I came back. I decided to come back. So I came back with bag and baggage, all. These 2 kids were there, and wife and I all came back. And so from here, I asked my friend there to see that the house is sold. He arranged for this sale. And then I settled here. So in 1997, I finally came back, and still I am here.
So how did you teach in the ashram school?
No, I was asked, Niruddha asked me, rather insisted that I should take up the teaching here. I very clearly told him that, you see, for 40 years I taught there in Delhi, so I want to get rid of this. No more teaching for me. Give me some other job, I will do that.
How well did you know Narad?
Niruddha?
Narad.
Narad. I did not know him very well. It was just, you see, it was just a meeting. Sometimes we used to go in the beach, sit there, and then we started talking to him. And so that is how.
Did you have any close friends in the ashram?
Close friend? No, actually, socialization as for mothers not allowed. It's not good.
And what did your wife do? Did she do any work in the ashram?
Yes, she did in corner house.
Oh,
Corner house where children, eating place for the children.
yes.
There she worked.
I see. And how long have you been here now? Full time from 97?
97 full time. Yes. So 97 and this is 22, 21. So almost how long?
25 years. 24,
Huh?
25 years.
25 years.
Yes. Wonderful. Have you had any dreams of Mother or Sri Aurobindo?
No, in that sense, I did not request mother to give me some ashram job. But I thought I would do work what mother and Sri Aurobindo wanted us to do. And the best thing is to read their book and to come in contact with them through their writings. Through their writings.
Could you, if you wish, could you speak of any inner experiences you might have had?
My experience.
Inner experiences.
Inner experiences. Actually, I would say I received Mother's grace many times. You see? So, sometimes, rather 3 or 4 times, you see, she brought me out of death. You see? So, I can narrate those things, 3 things. First thing was in Ranchi. I went on holiday to Ranchi. There we went visiting, and there by chance our car went into a ditch, and the car jumped. My head struck the roof, and I was senseless. And the main thing, what I want to emphasize is that my soul came out. It was moving around my head. Soul, I saw a star moving around my head. Somehow reading Mother's book and Sri Aurobindo's book, I came to know that must be the soul. And Mother says, if the body is intact, the soul does not leave the body. So I thought this body was normal. Although for the time being I became unconscious, but he and my son-in-law, they were talking to me, to my ear, Father, what has happened? Come out, come out. So I told the soul, see, they are asking me to come. Why don't you enter the body? After repeated requests, it entered the body through the head, and I was awake.
That was one experience.
That is one experience. So we went home, and there immediately they called the doctor, and the doctor said, it is a case of heart attack. So I said, no, please, you go. I don't need your advice. So he went away. The second and third took place here. Yes, the second was, yes, I was moving I used to go on cycle always. Till 85, I
Rode a cycle.
used cycle always. So, you know Romano Library? In front of that is a big park.
Yes, I know the park.
By the side of on the one hand dining room, and on this side Romano Library.
Right, right. I've been there.
So the road in front of the library, I wanted to go to that shop. They bind books. Navavihan.
Navavihan. Yes.
Navavihan.
Yes, I know where it is.
I wanted to go to that shop to get some jackets for the book. So at the corner, a truck was waiting. The truck was there. He was gossiping and with his conductor or assistant. So I took a turn, he said, and to go to the Navavihan. And immediately as I came in front, the bus driver started. I was knocked down with my cycle, and the truck ran over my body and cycle. They were frightened. Some accident might have been occurred. So they came down and dragged me out, pulled my cycle and myself, make me stood and walk. Now see the driver. He also knows the grace of the mother. So he asked me, do you work in the ashram? I said, why? Because otherwise you could not be saved. Mother saved you. I told him, yes, I work in the ashram, in the reception. Well, yes, I saw you there at the reception. And so Mother saved you. So from there, I took my cycle, came back home. See, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Cycle.
Can you imagine a truck going over your body and not a scratch? Another was at the corner, you see, the dispensary and balcony, Mother's balcony. That crossing, you have seen the crossing. I was with my sister-in-law. I was moving in a car from the SB road. I came down. At the crossing, another car must be with full speed, just banged. I was in the front, by the side of the driver, so it banged and the door flew off, door of our car. And just I felt as if some thick pad came between the door and my body. Thick pad. I did not feel the impact of the door.
Huh.
Our car was about to tilt, but somehow it did not. I could not. So the 4 or 5 people from the dispensary came out. Somaya is one. I remember his name. He works in the ashram. So he came out on the side of the driver and pulled me out from that door and asked me to walk, please walk. And there might be some fracture or some other injury. So I said nothing happened. I went to the ashram and then from there after some time I went home. This is the third.
Third, right. Now the fourth.
Huh?
Fourth.
Fourth. Fourth, I can give you an experience of my death. That is the fourth. So, in dream, all dream story going on. In dream, I died. And so, and after death, even in Greek mythology, they say you have to cross the Hades.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, you can't. So, here in Indian mythology, it's not Hades, but ocean, full of troubles, full of, what should I say? Anyhow, so after death, I was standing at the seashore, as usual, because I have to cross the sea. There is no way. So I stood there. Then suddenly I was, by some force, I don't know, I was thrown into the sea. And in my life, I did not enter a sea. I do not know swimming. I know no swimming. I was thrown into the sea, and some force was taking me. And at a distance, on the eastern side of the sea, at a distance, I saw a huge stage. Stage, some building, huge stage. And I was moving towards that stage. Without no power of mind, because I don't know swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And as I reached near, I saw Sri Aurobindo standing on the stage. I stopped there by some unseen force. Then I was lifted up onto the stage. He was there. Then on this stage there was a huge hall. Huge hall from one end to the other. And of course there was no door, only opening. A big opening is there, no door. So Sri Aurobindo turned back and entered through the door, and the hall was jam-packed. How could such? Because souls do not occupy space. So millions of people all sitting there, and at the gate I saw Swami Vivekananda in his natural posture, standing there at the gate. So Sri Aurobindo entered, and as he entered, the souls, they separated, make a way for Sri Aurobindo, and he went there. I followed him, you see, because he is taking me. So at the end of the hall, there was another stage, and on that stage was a big sofa. Sri Aurobindo took 2 or 3 steps, went up this stage, and went straight to the sofa, sat there. So now I thought I must see who are they. So in the hall, I think many totally jam-packed. And at the right half of the hall, there was Sri Ramakrishna in his
Oh my.
well-known posture, sitting there with his, what is that called?
Thread.
He was sitting there at the center. And all other people I did not know. Only Sri Ramakrishna I knew from photographs. Swami Vivekananda I knew from photographs. Others I did not know. So, this is, so later on, reading Savitri, I came to know that this is the world of souls. That canto, the world of souls, where souls go and prepare for the next life. You have read that. So, this is the world of soul. I have come to the world of soul. You see? This is a very fine experience. Fine experience. It is so soothing to the heart. Sri Aurobindo taking me, carrying me to the world of soul. So this is the fourth. You asked for the fourth because I don't speak about this experience to anyone. Only he knows and others do not know. Because Mother says, don't tell your experience to others.
Yes. You met Mother in your dreams?
Yes. She came to our house. We lived in Meerut. Meerut, you know,
No.
about 40 miles from Delhi. We lived there. And so one day, I had that in dream, I was very close to her. You see? So she came to our house. There was an easy chair. Easy chair, you know, chair which gives you comfort. She came and she was sitting there. In that chair, Father used to sit. In a white sari, she was sitting there. So this is one thing. She came to our house. So there are some other experience. So again in Meerut, our house, I was standing at the balcony, just chance, and I was just full of aspiration for the mother to come down. And you know, suddenly what happened? The entire locality was full of blue light came down. the entire locality came down. So that was another very soothing, joyous experience, full of joy. So I did not talk to the mother, true, but other things she has given me. She gave me many things. He said. So I have no grudge.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because I have received other things.
How old are you now, sir? How old are you now?
90,
90.
90.
Wonderful. Are you looking forward to getting younger?
I don't know. All depends on her.
Yes.
All depends on her.
What books do you read now of Sri Aurobindo and Mother?
Huh?
What books of Sri Aurobindo and Mother do you read most?
You see, whenever I find any book of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, I just grab it. I don't allow that to go. You see, I went through many books written by them. Especially my favorite is Savitri, because I like poetry, and so Savitri. And Savitri I read 4 or 5 times, full Savitri.
Hmm.
You see, I took a class here of some Ashramites, about 7 or 8. So we used to read every Sunday, sit there and read Savitri, 5 or 6 of us.
Did you explain to the people?
Yes.
You did. Very good.
Otherwise, it is very difficult. Especially, most of them did not know English well. That is one problem. If you do not know the language, how can you understand? So I had to explain. And they also insisted, please explain. We can't know. I can't understand the poetry.
Have you studied the Vedas?
Unfortunately, no. Because you see, first thing, as I told you, I am more interested in poetry.
Yes.
And Vedas poetry is Sanskrit. I don't know Sanskrit. So I can't. Of course, translation I could read, but I was not much interested.
I love poetry, and Savitri is my favorite. But could you tell us about other poets that you have liked?
Other poets
That you like?
that I like. You see, all these English romantic poets, Wordsworth, Shelley, Keats, Coleridge, they were in these syllabus, university syllabus. So I must know them and I must teach the students. So these are the main poets my favorite poets, you can say.
What about A.E.?
Hey, oh yes, superb.
Yeats?
Yes, yes. So all these poets have been discussed by Sri Aurobindo in future poetry.
Yes, yes.
All these find a place there.
Have you found any modern poets who are any good?
Modern poets, no. You see, language of modern poetry is not to my taste. That is the problem. If you have no taste for the language, then you will not like that.
How important to you is rhyme or rhythm?
That is very important. That is part of the literature, rhyme and rhythm. And that is why modern poetry, most of the poets, modern poets, do not use rhyme and rhythm.
Yes.
That is the problem.
Yes, correct. What do you do these days?
These days, you see, we started one thing again, unfortunate thing. We started at home. At home, we are 5. My son, wife, his wife, and his grandson, a child of 10 years. So, in the evening, we used to read Savitri at home. Now for some time it has been stopped, but again we intend to start again. You see, my main aim is Savitri. That is the main, reading Savitri and trying to understand intellectually what Sri Aurobindo says, Mother also says, don't try to understand Savitri intellectually by your mind. Try to understand them by your heart.
Yes. I feel the same.
Oh, good.
Oh, yes.
And that is why I think we have come close.
I think so. Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, I did not know you, you did not know me. So suddenly we came together and become close.
Can you speak a little bit about your experiences with Savitri?
One very similar experience I told you about that world of soul. There is a canto, the world of soul.
Yes.
And so, very similar to that is my experience when Sri Aurobindo took me to the world of soul. That is one experience. Then 2 more experiences are there. They are related to, I don't know whether you would like it or not, supramental world. You see, once I was traveling by train. Listen, traveling by train, and on the left side was the east. I don't know. Anyhow, I thought like that. And from the window, I was looking outside, and the entire vegetation, trees and plants, all single. It was very cold, extremely cold. I was also inside, I was shivering. I saw the plants and trees all wilted. So there was an aspiration to the mother. You have not created this world to die like this? I repeatedly told the mother. I said, then suddenly on the eastern sky I found a small window opened, and from that window I looked out and I saw at a very far distance a golden sun approaching the window. Then it stopped at the window, and see the miracle. All the plants and trees, they just came to life. That supplemental light, the golden sun, that was the... Then after some time it receded, went back. The time has not come for the supplemental sun to come. That was in 1956, and I went to, first time I came to Pondicherry in 1956. So that is one experience. You can say how supplemental light can revive life. And that is one thing. Then supplemental, of course I read, Savitri also says, but in prose writings of the mother and Sri Aurobindo, they have written all the details of supplemental.
Yes.
So that was in my mind always. I have to find out this supplemental, although a very difficult expectation. Anyhow, in my experience, I was traveling in a chariot. The chariot was taking me across some mountain. It was driven by 4 white horses, the chariot. And I was standing at the, whatever you call it, I was standing there. Then it was rattling, mountain rattling, and I thought it might topple down. But the horses, they just, horsepower with 4 horsepower, they pulled the chariot, and after a long time, it entered, the whole chariot came to an opening. Opening, hall, there was a hall, no door, only opening, like that world of soul. And the chariot entered the hall and stopped there. Now, I did not know, I had no idea what is the place. The hall was lighted by hidden light. You see, some tube lights are hidden inside the wall and the light trickle down. So that is hidden light. And I came down and I looked around. The wall was filled with statues on the wall, engravings. So what could they be? Then I remembered the Savitri line, which I have myself forgotten now. He found on the wall statues of gods and goddesses, the uh, what I they are the executors of the Supreme. You understand? So, so I thought they must be them, gods, demiurges. He called them demiurges. So, but from their eyes, I could guess that they are living. They are not statues. They are living. Then I saw the golden light from the ceiling and then all around. So later on, I came to know from the, especially mothers, when mother explains something, you see, that this golden light is the supramental light. So these are some of the small experiences.
Very beautiful.
But one thing I remember, that if one has faith, even death does not count.
Very true.
You will be snatched out of death.
Do you have any interest in music or horticulture, flowers?
That is one thing which I totally lack. I like to hear songs, especially mother songs, songs of Tagore, and all these songs I like. But myself I can't sing. You see, my voice is hoarse, not sweet. So how can I sing?
Painting? Painting?
No. You see, these fine arts I lack. Only poetry. That is the one thing in my life. And that too is Savitri.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Now I don't read any other poetry, any other,
Only Savitri.
only Savitri.
Can we close with a few lines from Savitri?
Oh, for that I wish how my grandchild would be here. You ask him. He will narrate, quote lines, many lines, 4, 5, 6 lines from Savitri.
Wonderful.
I can quote some few lines, but
Just a few that people can hear.
you see, especially the last, in the last page of Savitri, when Savitri, the sages of the forest ask Savitri, what have you, who are you, what have you learned? Then Savitri, last lines, awaken to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love and oneness is to live. That's the golden chain for
I know, O
I
sage.
know and seek,
O sage.
O sage.
Namaste all, and thank you so much. A wonderful evening.